Hi guys, in this session I'm gonna show you how to import an Excel data into the Python interpreter and how Python will automate your Excel data and then export the same data into the Excel sheets. Stay tuned. Here I have a browser open here and I have searched that some games data and I love cricket so I search for the test team uh, played by the legends. Here I have opened for the data set I'm gonna use for the batting and once I click the form is open now submit query. Once you submit the query you will have the data like this and there is no options available here to import. So what should I do? I just copy all this data into an Excel sheet. So just copy this one and open an Excel file and paste it here. Now delete the first one. Now what I want to remove all the hyperlink from here. So select all the data, then right click and remove the hyperlink. In this way, I have removed all the hyperlink. There is some icon. Just right click this one, cut this, and you have one more thing for this data. So I'm not going to it one by one. So just select the data which I gonna use and paste here. And now go to sheet 1 and delete the sheet 1. Now you have data ready and make it some format so that it looks fine. I'm gonna use an Arial and now we have a data like this. You can see here the player's name is here and player's name along with the country they played and their span since they start until how long they played, how many matches they have been played and how many innings they played, how many times they are not out, how many runs they had scored, what was the highest score, and what is the average score, how many hundreds he had made, how many fifties he had made, and how many ducks they got. So these kinds of data we have. Now I want to include a few duplicate. So I am inserting here and including a few duplicate. Now I gonna use a few duplicate also. I have used two duplicates, one for the this one Casey Sangakkara and one for uh, Virat Kohli from India. So I have around 53 records now. You can see we have 53 records and now gonna save. I'm going to save here on the desktop. I want to save as a CSV file. And here I going to name this table as a data table. Just save it. Now close this one. Now I have launched my PyCharm, which is an IDE for Python. This is your Python interpreter. First, I want to import an CSV file which I have saved on my desktop. So here importing the CSV file. First, I want to import the CSV file. And for importing the CSV file in Python, panda is a library will help you. So import pandas as PD. Now df equal PD read CSV, and what is my CSV file? You go here and this is your CSV file. Just copy the path and paste it here. You have to change to a backward slash because Python will configure to import the data using this slash. I have importing using this code, and I gonna write the data frame. I have given a data frame df which gonna read all these things. So just run this. Here nothing is showing. Why? Because Python will show your result using print. Because Python will always return your result using print. So Python will work on print. So print the same data frame here. Now you're gonna see I have imported this data, CSV data, and you can see if I go to the desktop and check what my data in CSV file, we have player, span, matches, innings, not out like this, and here I have player, span, matches, innings, and there are few columns is hidden here, and these are the data we have. Here it is also showing that 53 records with 11 columns of data is here. I have duplicated, you can see KC Sangakkara is the 3 record is duplicated and Virat Kohli is the 2 record is duplicated here. Now what should I do? I will show you everything step by step how to clean a imported CSV file and then export to the CSV file on your desktop so that you can use the clean data. You can say how to import CSV file into the Python interpreter, and using Python interpreter you're gonna clean your data or automate your CSV box data into a clean data so that you're gonna use this data for your analysis purpose. I have imported data here, and now what I want few columns to rename. Now you can see mat, ins, ebb like this. And what I have mat, ins, I want mat as a matches, ins for innings, not out, highest score, average, 100, 50s and duck. Want to rename mat as matches, ins as innings like this. So I want to rename these columns like 3 and 5, 8 columns I want to rename. So go to interpreter. Here you have to use a rename function. So for this you have to rename. So give a data frame. So first renaming columns. This is your data frame and df rename columns, and here columns are mat as matches and ins innings And what we have? NO. NO as not out. And we have HS for highest score. HS for highest score. And A and A as average 100 as hundreds 50 as fifties 0 as ducks like this. Match for matches, ins for innings, NO for not out, HS for highest score, F for average, 100 for hundreds, 50 for fifties, and 0 for ducks. Now that's it. Now print df because everything gonna in Python interpreter using print. In other IDE, you no need to write print every time, but in Python, if you want to have look your result, then you have to use a print command. So I made the changes like this and want to see if changes has been done or not. So using print the same data frame because df has everything. So now run this. Now you can see your data, your column name gets changes because see mat becomes matches, 100 become hundreds, 50 like ducks like this. So I have renamed here a few columns using Python interpreter. My third is want to find out any null, but I have not included null. So if there would be any null, then it gonna show you, otherwise not showing null. So want to show is null, you have to use a print. Now let's see if is any null. Nothing. This one is to find if any null data in your table or which you have imported. Now want to find a duplicates. So here identify duplicate. So in order to find identify the duplicates, you have to use df, which is your data frame df duplicated. But it will not show unless until you not write a print. Just print like this. Print df duplicated. P small is accepting. See, if there any true value, that means duplicated. See, 21 record is duplicated and 6 and 7s are duplicated because I have done 6 and 7 are duplicated and 21. This is duplicated. That is what is showing true. So what I want to drop this duplicated value so that my data would be a clean. So for dropping the duplicate, you have to find out, print your data frame, and your data frame, which column you have duplicated, a player column. So you have to write a player column duplicated equal 1. Just to run this one. First, you can see this data is duplicated. That means KC Sangakkara 2 records and Virat Kohli 1 record is duplicated. So what I want all these 3 records to be deleted. Either I gonna show record number 6 to delete, record number 7 to delete, and record number 21 to delete. In a state, what I want all duplicated get dropped out using a single command, not deleting the duplicates records using one by one. So what should I do? I do here I gonna rename my data frame. So I gonna use df1 instead what I have been using df. Just I'm renaming the same data frame, nothing else. So here I gonna use giving a different data frame name df1. I'm going to remove duplicates from the existing. So I'm going to use the same thing, this one here. And here I'm gonna use, I want no duplicate. I want just no duplicate. So just delete this one and now print my data frame is now df1. Now run this one. Now you can check KC Sangakkara is no duplicate now, and your Virat Kohli you can see is no duplicate now. Means your duplicated record has been dropped using this command. But want to show that your unique record to be shown, so that you have to rename a new data frame name. That's why I have renamed as df1. This is what I did. So identifying duplicates and dropping duplicates in this way. Now I'm free with the duplicated record with my data frame. Now we have every record as a unit. Now the next thing is here I'm looking that a span is a combination of 2 years, 1989 and 2013. But what I want this first column to be separated from the second one, meaning the first column and second column to be separated in different two columns, so that I have this as a first year and or the starting year, or the second one column will show as a final year. That means the cricket player they have started since this column and they had played till this column. That's what I want to create. So in this case, I have to split the span column here. So want to split this one. So split text for span column. Now comment it out and now going to split this one. So what should I do for this? Now I have data frame as a df1. I gonna split this one. df1 and going my column is span to which I go to split this one. Now string split. Here I have to give a pattern. I have pattern like hyphen. So in this way I gonna have a split option used here. Now I have to use a print command so that we can see what are the split option will show us. So just run this one. You can see split option will segregated with the two different year separated by comma. And this is my first column and this is my second column. So if I gonna use like str0, that means it splitted out the first one. Let's see what would be the result. Your first column would be segregated using string 0. 0 means the first here. And the next column would be a 1 like this. So in this session, I'm gonna show you how to split this one. So here I'm not using print. I want to give a name for this column. So df1 in this data frame, I'm gonna use start year equal df1 span like this. So here I'm gonna use this column as a start year, and for the same, for the second column, I'm gonna use final year, and here I'm gonna use 1 in place of 0. Now print df1. Just run this. So in Python, everything gets run again and again. Number of times you click the run button from the top to bottom. So just run this now. Now you can see your data becomes like start year this and the final year this. So I have splitted the span column, separated these years into two separate columns. And the first column is named as a start year and the second column named as a final year. Now I want, I don't need this span column now because I have two separated column for this. So I have to drop out this column. So in order to drop out this column, just give a dropping span column. So dropping out this span column, you have to create a different data frame again. So use df2 now, and df2 now from where you have to go to df, drop from df1 because this data is belongs to df1 now. So under the df1, drop drop, and you're gonna use which column? Your span column. So give a column name here and use axis equal 1. You have to use print to show the result. So now I want to show df2 now because I have removed the span column. Let's see. Now you can see I have removed the span column. Now my df2 is the final data frame, meaning data frame is a container which holds all your data. That means once I progress for the level to clear out all the bugs, we gonna change time to time a data frame so that can I have every changes we completed and we have saved in a separate data frame so that I can use only those data for our analysis purpose. So I have dropped the span data span column here. Now In the same way, I have a player column here. You can see the player name and along with the country. But what I want player name separated and country name be separated into the different column. The same way we have start year and final year for the spine column. Now what I want player column to be used and separate into two different columns. So what should I do? Same thing. So here split player column as player name and country like this. Now my data frame is df2 now. So df2 player string split your pattern is your open bracket. Now pattern is your open bracket. If you want to see, then you have to use a print. This is what inter Python will help you. If you not gonna write print, you will not result any, you will not receive any result. And now I have to use this as a zero split and this as a one split. So here I gonna use a country column I want to create. So for this I want to have my df2. I want player name as click player. Click player equal df2 player string split pattern this hyphen str0. Now I will have a click player column which will have all the players name. So I gonna use string 0. For the country I gonna use string 1. So just copy the same and use here, and you gonna write here the country and you have to use here as a 1. Now print df2. Now print df2 because my data frame is df2 now. Now just run this one. Now you can see I have added two more columns. Click player as a player name is separated and the country we have a closing bracket is still here. So now I gonna clear this closing bracket from the country column. So for this you have to use the same thing. That means just copy the same one and paste it here, and here you gonna use not from player, here you gonna use a country and you gonna use a 0. Print 2, print df2, but this is still here. So what I want df2 country speed here. Oh, okay, I have not given the closing bracket, that's why it's not removed. Now you can see we have clean now. Click player, country, matches, everything done. And I have also span out our starting year and final year, everything. So now what I want this first column player along with the country to be removed. Now what should I do? The same thing which I use for the dropping part. You can see I have used here dropping part here. But in this case you have to rename, give a different data frame name. So for dropping this one, you have to give, I'm giving df3 and paste it here as df2 because my data frame is df2 now. And here I gonna use a player because I want to drop the player column. Now print df3. Now run this. Now you can see you have removed everything. Now you have everything in a fine manner. Now what I want these two columns should be at the first place. This means your click player column should be at the first column and country column should be at the second column. So you have to make a shift. So shift columns. Now commenting out shift column so that we can know that we are doing a shifting a column here. Now gonna use df3 because my data frame is df3. df3 insert at 0 position, that means first column. Which one? I gonna use click player because my column is click player want to shift here. So I'm giving a column name here. And now my data frame is df3 have to use a pop. Pop, that means remove from here, shift to there. This is what a function of pop is here. And which column you have to pop? I want to use click player column. That means click player column, please do pop. That means shift to the 0 position. That means as a first column position. So you have to do like this. In the same way, you have to use the country. So just copy the same thing and paste it here. And here you gonna use country. And here you gonna use country. But it is at first position. That means this will at first column, this is the second column. Now print df3 here. Now run this one. Now you can see your click player and country column shifted from right to left side. Now I have done with this one, we have duplicated everything. Now I want to add a column which will show the difference between the starting year and the final year. So here I gonna use df3 and giving a name for the career length of the player. So career length of the player equal df3 final year minus df3 your start year and print df3. Everything gonna work using print in Python. Now print df3. This is showing some error. Why this error comes up? I have given a df3 carrier length. Here I gonna use adding a column. So here this one is not required here. Now let's run this. Now you can see final year and start year. I have done minus, but column is not get added here. Why? Let's see. Might be its data would be of different kind because this bill would be minus once they have all the integers data type. Let's see what kind of data type we have. df3 d type. Now let's print this one. So you have to give every time a print. So df3 d type. Here you gonna use print. Have to check the data type because of the data type is not gonna showing here. So print d types. Now run this one. Print df3. So okay, it will not work here. So just this one. Now print the data types here. Now you can see this code is obstructing us because this operation could not be completed. Why? Because we have not final year and start year as an integer type so that one number gonna minus our addition with the other number. If it's of different data type, it will result you as an error. So reaching your operation till this point, in between there is a operation is going here which results you as an error. That's why be receiving error. Now I want to show you what data types we have. We are going to clean the final year and start year. Let's see. Start year object, final year object. These are the objects. That's why its operation is not completed and receiving error in a state. So what should I do? First, I have to change the data type from object to integer. So what should you do? df, here you're gonna write change data type. So df3 as type, here you're gonna use start year as integer and final year as integer. You have to use like this. So for this, you have to give a curly bracket here. Now we can see if there any highest score is also an object. So I gonna change highest score as integer also. If we have anything, I have done this, and nothing. That's it. So now I'm do with that. Now just cut from here and paste it here because I want to do this operation now. So first print df3 here. Let's run this one. Now as I have done with the, so I have to check what our d type is. So df3 d type. Now run this. Highest score. I have the highest score column name. Highest score Okay, leave it. Now run this. Now we have done. Still we have start here as an object. Why? I have not defined here a data frame name, actual data frame name. That's why. Now run this. Now you can see your start year and final year becomes integer. Now let's try with the highest score as integer. Now it will not work because there is something with this highest score column. That's why I want to show you what is there. Now you gonna use this one. So remove the comment part. Now you can have a adding a column which is the difference of this final year and starting year here. Now what is the error we receiving when I gonna change highest score into integer path? I want to show what is in highest score. So let's see in the, you can see highest score we have integer along with some asterisk sign. That's why it's showing error. So you have to split this column first and you have to choose a string 0 because 0 would be your first part. Then you will gonna convert into a number part. That's why it's showing as error. So I'm not having an operation. This task is for you. You try to do this in the same way. So I have done everything with the cleaning part. Now what I want, I have few questions here. I have few questions here to solve through in Python interpreter using Python code. And what is my questions is, the questions is, my first questions is, uh, what is the average career length of a player? This is my first question. And my second question is average in for players those played over 10 years. Now my third question is here, how many uh, players how many players played before 1950? Now my fourth question is maximum innings by country. And my fifth question is my 100, 50 and 0. We having the three columns in the data set. Want average by country. We have five questions here to solve out basis on the data we have cleaned. So what is the average of car- career length of the player? Here you have to use a print for everything. So here my data frame and I gonna use career length. This dot average is mean here. Now this is your average. Now let's run this. you will have the result 15.16 is your average. Now I gonna use for the second average innings by the player which played over 10 years. So here I gonna use print because print is mandatory here. DF3 here DF3 and my career length is greater than over 10 years, that means greater than and greater than 10. I want innings, my innings dot average, that means the mean value. Let's run this. We have 212.35. Now we have the third question. How many players played before 1950? So everything gonna using print here. So use print df3 df3 your start year is less than 1950 and your quick player, because I have changed the column name. Your quick player, then use how many, that means count. Here you have to use a count for this and you have to close this one. So I have used df3 df3 and the start year I have not closed, that was not closed, that why showing as a red mark here. Now run this. We have only a single player before 1950. Now max innings by the country. So you have to use a print here. So print my DF3 is the data frame. Now you're gonna use group Y. Group Y will summarize your data. Group Y, group by country. So you use country here and close this bracket and you're gonna use innings innings dot max, because I want maximum innings. So I have taken innings group by country. Now let's run this. Now you can see we have country here, we have the maximum inning by the country. In the same way, I gonna use having three columns here using a group by country. So same thing, I gonna use copy and paste here df3 country, and here for the innings I gonna use here like I have 100 and 50s and ducks, and here I gonna use, because question is about the average, so I'm just replacing max with the mean mean Now let's run this. Now you're gonna see your country wise, your 100 column, your 50s column, and your dust column. So we have 5 questions to be in this session. Now I want to export the Excel, the same data which I have cleaned using a Python interpreter. I gonna use export this to the Excel file or CSV file. So DF3, because my final data frame is DF3 to CSV, and here are you gonna write your path name. So where you want to export, I want to export here, so just copy the path name and paste it here so that I can have the same location for exporting the CSV file. So I'm gonna rename data1, or I'm gonna rename output CSV, and here this slash is not working, so just change the slash part here in the uh, location part, and that's it. Just run this one. Now you have through it. Now let's check output CSV we have on desktop or not. We have output CSV here. Just open this one. This is your output CSV. Just delete this one because it's the IDE is given there like this. Now, now here is thing is coming with every player name. So just select all these and replace this one with a blank. Now you have through with everything here. In this way, you can automate your Excel part into the Python using Python interpreter. I will show you in the next session how to use the same CSV data into the Jupyter IDE. Only difference is that you no more gonna use a print command there. You have just to write df3. That means it indicating df3 the whole data frame and gonna show you the result. So stay tuned for the next video.